Hello, hello everyone. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing today? How we doing, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the probably final day of the Catboi Cafe. There will be a fourth one that happens at some point, so we can finish off the game, hopefully, as well as do the fourth reward stream of this. Well, fifth, I guess, technically. But yeah. Meowdy. How you doing, Dal? Hope you're doing well. How are you, gorgeous? Hope you are doing well. Ooh, what did you get up to today? How was your day? Tell me more. Big exciting news, folks. We ordered the PC today. You're solid okay? That's a good solid okay. But yeah, we ordered the computer today, which is super exciting. So that'll probably take a couple weeks, I'd say, because they've got to build it, test it, and quality test it and stuff, and then they'll ship it. But also my monitor was shipped today, so that's exciting. All good things coming up Millhouse. But man, oh man, I'm excited to not have to wear this for a little bit. I'll be real. If anything, just for the stockings, they're like really tight around my thighs. They're not like super comfy. It's just like the top of them, they're just like real, just like... You'll be ordering yours in exactly 2 weeks? Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum, that's what I like to hear. Focus. That's better. Good webcam. Good, good, good. Yes, folks, it is time for another Catboi Cafe. Yeah, boy. Last night we finished off the second part of the game, so we're officially halfway through. We did some tweaking to our character, aging us a little bit, as well as, you know, adding some cool things and whatnot. Oh yeah, and we want to do relaxed and love. There we go. But yeah. We don't have a whole lot of people in, so we'll probably hop straight in. But Dal, congratulations on your 18th timer first. Very proud of you. I'm fairly certain I addressed that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Good. 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 So let's pop in. So we're ready. We've got our new kind of tweaks to our character for the third stage of the game. I don't know how old we are for this. But we'll see, you know? You now have what? What now we have? But shall we? Bippity boppity boo. Begin step 3 at relaxed love. You now have acknowledged it. Okay. Sure. So we're starting off. This is our comfort level with Cove is relaxed, and our interest level is love. We've moved up from crush. Now, I don't want to customize anything based on... I think we do this, right? Okay, since you're romantically interested in Cove and are old enough to start being physically affectionate more seriously, you can choose what initiative level he has throughout this step. Okay, that's cool. Did you forget all context, silly ADHD? It's about getting the first. Oh, right. No, I didn't mean acknowledging it. I meant going into the system and making sure that it correctly counted. That's not what I meant. But man, I tell you what, my ears are looking forward to us not doing these streams for a little bit, because the combo of the headphones, my glasses, My glasses, the headphones, and the ears all like going to the one spot are not great. Making sure the player experiences what they want is important in our life, but always putting your choice first can potentially make a relationship feel one-sided. So we've added some flexibility in how it works out. That's awesome. Low initiative means Cove will occasionally ask to touch the MC, and in those situations there will always be an opportunity to say yes or no. For example, he won't simply lean over and kiss the MC as a greeting or in an emotional moment. Every piece of physical interaction will be either initiated or approved by the player before it happens. Middle initiative means there will be those certain times when Cove requests to touch the MC, many chances to initiate affection on your own, and also he will pretty regularly give affection automatically. One example would be the MC giving a kiss because he's happy or emotional or something else. And in other situations, you can choose not to make the first move in order to give Cove the space to be the one to act afterward. Overall, the love interest can get romantic, but the player's agency will take priority. High initiative includes everything middle does, but it also means the player agency will be reduced to a degree in favor of having Cove give physical affection even more frequently and with less prompting. Instead of the major affection giving situations being led by a choice menu for you to decide on, some will instead be replaced by Cove acting automatically. This level is only recommended if you're very comfortable with physical affection and would prefer to simply see it happen rather than always holding the reins on it. However, this level is mostly relevant if Cove ends up as your official boyfriend at some point. Situations where high-level initiative makes a difference tend to come up in scenes that are exclusive to being in a relationship. The parts that are not included in the middle initiative, which will be seen whether you're dating or not. Once you pick your level, it can't be changed partway through a step, the choice only comes up at the very beginning of the story section. We hope you enjoy whichever initiative option you decide on. I think middle is a good bet. Alright. Summer 3. The start of classes ended the relaxed free days of summer. It didn't take long for you to get back into the swing of the school year routine. Schedules and homework became the new normal. Derek wasn't around nearly as much. With school and after-school activities, there weren't as many opportunities for him to take the trip out to your neighborhood. Sometimes you'd hear that he was at a training camp or something like that, but you weren't always sure what he was up to. But we still kept in touch over the phone as best you could. The Jeremy kid did disappear after that summer, and no one ever heard from him again. Where he went or what he might be up to was a mystery. More summers came and went like the waves on the shore coming in and out. In your second year of high school, someone new started to visit Sunset Bird, a sunny girl named Terry Brooke. She was a friend Cove made, due to them being both ocean obsessed. Terry was more than glad to befriend you. Someone close to Cove had to be good company, she felt. You were pleased to get along with her as well. Terry was tight with another girl who you had known distantly from school for a long time, Miranda Eckert. You saw more and more of her as time went on, thanks to Terry and Miranda's own outreach. After a while, all of you developed a real friendship together. As for your home life, the softpaws also had developments. Changing laws and public perception countrywide made it possible for your mums to openly wear their wedding rings without questions. Yay! Though they had a wedding years ago, it was only recently that the union was officially recognized everywhere in the US. That was a good day to say the least. Oh, I'm so happy about it. Elizabeth came into her own and stopped being quite as irritable. She'd no longer worried about perceived childishness as she grew up for real. She didn't even mind being called Lizzie again, although most people used Liz. She eventually graduated high school and moved out to attend college in another state. It was a lot for you to adjust to your older sister being gone. Liz never let you forget her role in your life, though, and kept in touch. Cove's relationships with his family improved over the years. Kyra visited several times after that summer, and things became easier between the two. He was also closer with his dad than ever before. You knew they talked more, and that helped prevent a lot of friction before it could start. However, Cove still wasn't what anyone would call social. He kept to himself usually. He cared for a few connections he did have, but didn't reach out outside them. Cove loved staying inside and learning just as much as ever. By this point, his studies had paid off, and he had been right near the top of the class by his last years of high school. Things had shifted between you and Cove, but in a way that most couldn't see. After all this time, he wasn't just your neighbor, wasn't only your friend, or even a guy you were interested in. You were in love with him. You loved Cove. You knew that fact for certain. There was no one else you held those feelings for. I'm gonna say quite possibly, yeah. It was strange to look back on it all. The future faded into your present, and then it was simply the past. Even the most fundamental parts of your life couldn't last forever. You felt that the most pointedly the day you inevitably graduated high school. It was over, and you would not be going back ever again. From now on, what came next was your choice. You would be directing your own life. That was where you were currently. The summer after school had ended. The first summer of true freedom. What used to be a reprieve from the typical was now going to be your first step into adulthood. One fine summer morning, you took in what had become a very special scene. The whole family having a meal together. Your big sister Liz still hadn't lived at home full-time for a couple of years, but she arrived last week to spend the season here since it was an off semester for her. She's beautiful. She wanted to make sure she was in town because you had now also graduated high school, so who knew how much rarer these moments would become in the future. You watched on as Liz laughed good-naturedly over a comment Ma made. Her Elizabeth-only mindset had only been a phase. Nearly any nickname was welcomed at this point in her life. Strangely, even though she'd moved away, you'd lately felt closer to her than you had in a long time. And honestly, that's a big vibe. Like, I got a much stronger and much better relationship with my whole family once I moved out. You idly scooped up more of your breakfast and chewed absent-mindedly. What's proletarian? I know the others. Once again, adding into the awesome representation of this game and just like real excellent choices that you get to make about who you are. A proletarian is someone who eats poultry but not red meat or pork products. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Okay. We generally ate whatever. And the meal you had reflected that. It included just about everything your mums had made, though you often made your own food nowadays. With Liz around, though, your parents made even more options than usual. Your sister had been vegetarian for a while, and they wanted to make sure she had her choices too. Conversation had gone on idly without you fully taking in the words until your ears were piqued when Ma started on a bit of town gossip. Oh, Ma's looking tired. Mum too. But I feel like Ma is looking a lot older than Mum is.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how I heard the news. All right. Now stop burying the lead and tell us. What is this so-called news? Ma giggled as she cast a look across the table, satisfied that she had everyone's attention. Well, it turns out the Donalds won't be renting out the condo up the street as per Sunset Bird tradition. For the first time in what must be nearly 2 decades. A chorus of gasps and shocked expressions were had all around. After the initial shock, your eyebrows pinched. Ma may consider them by name, but you and Liz always viewed them exclusively as the mean old couple who would yell at anyone under 25 who crossed their paths. Your ma continued on with the story, spreading strawberry jam over a piece of toast as she spread the news. They've decided not to take big trips anymore. Friends and family will be visiting them at their home.
Hmm.
That's nice for them then. Have a good summer, mean grandparents with no kids away from us. A relief. I think it's kind of sad they can't travel anymore. I hope they're still okay, even if they are mean. My thoughts exactly, Liz. Finally, they can piss off? No. Kind of sad they can't travel anymore. They've had a very full life. Nothing to sneeze at. And you be nice, Liz. You don't want to end up like them, do you? You and your sister crack smiles at the joke.
Well?
Well, at least they won't be here to yell at my children anymore.
Lonnie.
Lonnie! And that blunt comment got laughter from all three of you, engrossed in conversation once more. You continued to chat with your family until the meal was over. Step 3. Third time's charm. Wonder what that means. As it went, once the food was eaten, the cleanup had to be done. Liz took the role of washing the dishes and passed them to you for drying and putting away. You had a set of cups in front of you that needed to go to the top shelf of the cabinet. I think we're still small. I don't think we grew. I think we stayed small. Like, we did grow from 13, but still small. It was a struggle to get them up without a stepping stool. You were short. That was simply your lot in life. Spud! Hello, lovely. Hope you're doing well. I know you've been struggling lately, but I'm glad that you are here. We are starting our third summer. We are entering into the world of adulthood. We've just graduated high school. This was simply your lot in life. You'd always been vertically challenged. You hoped you might still grow more. That's probably pretty... You didn't think about it much. You used to completely dislike your height, so in some ways this was an improvement. Liz shook you out of your internal musing by starting up an impromptu conversation. She seemed to be voicing the thoughts that had been buzzing around in her own head. I have to say, going back for another semester this fall is pretty intimidating. You'd think that the first year or two I'd have a handle on things, but no. Still very much struggling, but putting that aside to come to streams when I have energy. Well, don't push yourself, okay, but I'm glad you're able to do something to help pull you out of things a little. I'm doing good. I'm feeling a bit hot today, but that's alright. I got the fan on, we got water, and we're just vibing. I've had a good day. You stole a glance at her, still placing cups in the proper place. I guess it's only fair. My first round was pretty general classes, and year 1 of my architecture major was the basics. Elliot, welcome in. How you doing? You're always pushing yourself? Well, stop it. How you doing? Well. Now it feels serious. I have to actually know some things? The laugh she gave was flippantly airy, but the way she scrubbed at the plates hard held more force than necessary. You're well, very glad. I think it's really cool you want to be an architect. Don't be too impressed yet. Wait to see if it actually happens, but thanks. Your older sister's mouth quirked into a small smile. It'll be fine, one way or another.
Oh.
Oh, but I'm not trying to scare you away from college, if that's even your plan. What is going on with all that anyway? Architect, aka engineer's worst enemy? Yes. Well, are we going what I was like at this time? Cause not a whole clue. Cause it's something down there. Enjoy the lurk, Elliot. I appreciate you. And I'm glad you're working on your stream streak. We don't know. You answered the question as much as you were able and willing to, as the smile grew more reassuring as you did. You made it through 12 years of full-time education already. You got plenty going for you. Sometimes it still felt hard to believe your public schooling experience was over. In the end, graduate at the top of your class, you soared through with high marks, you had to work extremely hard but were rewarded with great grades, you had been an average graduate, you struggled to reach the benchmarks but made it. I reckon that. And you were gonna miss it. Satisfied leaving off there, you wished it could have gone better. I wished it could have gone better. You'd put in so much effort and were disappointed it didn't amount to the best results. Liz picked up on the silence her question ended up creating. She decided it was time to make a closing statement on the topic, like a good architecture student.
You're a good boy.
That's a weird thing to say. You're a good boy, Luffy. Do what's best for you, and we'll be here to back it up. Thanks, Liz. At that, Liz happily passed the final dish your way. She waved a soapy, soaked hand as a farewell and moved on to her next task for the cleanup job. You refocused on getting the last pieces put back where they belonged. You eventually moved on to a new chore, but that was interrupted by the sound of your cell phone. Let's do a silly novelty song. I think at this time it would have been something like that. Nowadays it's just... Actually no, it's default ringtone for me. You casually picked it up from the table where you had placed it earlier. The phone was a couple years old at this point, having been a 16th birthday gift from your parents. They decided which model to get, but you got to pick the color. It was... pink. And it had a special charm attached. Well, of course it is. We're fashion. Which was... an anklet. Oh, that's so cute. I'm deciding between a small shell or the dolphin keychain. I think let's just go simple, a small shell. The screen lit up as you gave the little device a swipe with one finger. You were informed by the caller ID that it was Lee. You weren't surprised. Fatigue is kicking your butt again? Gonna take a nap? All good, my friend. I appreciate you. Sleep well. I hope that your fatigue... lessens. Lightens up. I can't get the words right now. Despite having busier and busier lives and not living in the same town, you still had a good relationship with your cousin of the same age. Especially once the miracle of the both of you having your own phones actually happened. She got hers first though. Tapping at the accept button, you answered her call. A familiar, bubbly voice came through right after.
Hi.
Hey, Luffy! Oh, she looks so cute. Those, like, earrings are so nice. She looks so cute. Big fan. Big fan. This is something that I'm really loving, is just the evolving art style of these characters as they age. It's really nice. Big fan of it. Hiya. I trust I'm not interrupting anything major. Only some cleaning around the house. Oh, then you're welcome for my call. A distraction from that must be desperately needed. Thank you, my dear cousin. Yes, thank you, my dear cousin. It's my pleasure. She giggled, and you could hear the jangling of the jewelry she must be wearing. Nothing amazing is happening for me either. I'm bored and felt like chatting. My morning shift ended, so I'm free for the rest of the day. Woo! That's good. You were off from your part-time job today. You hadn't started working anywhere yet, so you couldn't relate. Let's have a part-time job, shall we? Like you, Lee had started dipping her toes into the workforce of late. It made keeping in touch frequently even more complicated, but you both managed. What about you? It's been pretty normal.
Cool.
Cool. That's you then. So, how's Mr. Cove Holden doing? There was a teasing bent to her tone. She was never willing to let up on what was going on between the two of you. But that name was incredibly familiar to your ears. Cove, your next door neighbor for the past decade at this point. Which means, yeah, we're 18. But he was far more than just someone who lived on the same street. You vividly remembered the summer day you expressed feelings for each other as little 13-year-olds. But we started officially dating years ago. I don't think there's been anything about that. We didn't want to talk about that at this point in your life. We haven't admitted that we're in love yet. Are you even surviving without the boy being 10 feet away at all times? Or is everything right with the world back again and he's back? Right? That was something I was saying this earlier while you were like doing your lurky lurk. It's just that like I've been so impressed with the care and love that's been put into like the evolving art of these characters as they age. There's just been a lot of work and care and love put into this game. No, Lee, he isn't here, just like he wasn't here yesterday, or the last time you asked, or the time before that. Is Cove not here?
Sorry.
My bad. Can you blame me? Doesn't it seem like he should have made his grand return already? Plus, I want to visit soon, and he needs to be there too. You could understand where she was coming from. This was certainly outside the norm. The past couple months, and the last few weeks especially, Cove had been going to his mum's place in Nevada. The two of you still regularly stayed in contact over texts and calls, but still. Mine began to drift back in time to all the prior trips he'd taken to visit her. Almost every year he'd have to go away for a while, and then he'd be back. Made you sad and lonely when it happened. Helped you ship out care packages? That's cute. We'll do letters. You sent him letters the entire time he was away. I've made sure to mail some back to you too. That's how it was in the past, but lately he'd been trying to see her as much as he could before taking long trips to another state became too impractical to do. His part-time work could become full-time soon, or he could be moving somewhere else for school. Cove hadn't actually been entirely clear what his plans were after graduation. Cove was hesitant to speak on that, even with you. Couldn't be avoided forever though, you both knew that.
Well?
Maybe we should switch this up to a non-Cove related topic? Sounds like a plan. The rest of the conversation rolled on, not much longer though. Lee had to go and you needed to finish your responsibilities around the house. The both of you exchanged goodbyes, then you went back to what you'd been working on before the call came in. Oh, that hat's so cute. Guys, should I get that hat? Maybe just that whole outfit. Should I get that whole outfit? It's very cute. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, you were approached by Liz wearing a cheeky smile. I've got Mum's keys. Want to get out of this tiny town and do some shopping in a real city? That sounds great.
Good.
Good. I'm driving. It was obvious you didn't know how to drive. You're glad for that, still on a learner's permit. Even though you could drive too, it was her plan. She could do it if she wanted. It was nice of her to do that. You had a license, but tried to avoid driving as possible. Let's say we're on a learner's permit. Go get your wallet and anything else, but going now! With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. You had money saved up from all the part-time work you'd done, as well as from gifts you'd received. After making sure you were both fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what shops to stop at and the radio blasting, "Play that funky music, why boy." Liz controlled what was playing, but she made sure to pick songs she knew you liked. It was something the two of you had always done for each other. The trip there breezed by. I love how she is still a little bossy. I mean, that's never gonna change. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Liz had her interests to check out, and you yours. Your hobbies and skills were still the ones you developed when you were younger. I still think fashion and art. Let's go, baby. When turning a corner down a new length of the mall, your eyes caught on a little gift store. Your friends and family had recently given you many presents for graduating high school. You realized you wanted to get a graduation gift yourself to give to Cove. You had a gift of your own ready to give to Cove when the chance came. You really appreciated what you had gotten. We're going to get a graduation gift, and I'm going to choose what it is. Graduation may have already come and gone, but Cove wasn't really around then anyway. You'd keep an eye out for something good, though you might have something nice for him at home already. Eventually, the mall was explored in full, with every shop of note being checked over. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. Liz had many thoughts on that topic.
So?
Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even if smaller stores require extra distance, the brands are so much more... Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking and walking, right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seemed to entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? The attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. Something else had all her focus. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. Fluffy, don't draw attention, but look. What? With a harsh whisper and a subtle jerk of her head, she urged you once more.
Hey!
Look! You followed her gaze as best you could to a large bunch of colourful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. You faced back over your sister with a confused expression and an unspoken question. What were you supposed to be seeing there? Fluffy, doesn't one of them seem familiar? Is it going to be Shiloh? She was practically bouncing at this point, so you looked the group over again, and this time you saw what she was seeing. It's Shiloh! Amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, grey eyes, and lots of freckles. That's Shiloh! Our Shiloh from when we were kids! Yeah, that was definitely him. I can't believe it. He's honestly just there? That's hilarious. That's incredible. Oh, but how do we talk to him? We'd have to pull him away from all those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth opened to reply, but she cut it off with her own answer to the question. I've got it. I'll shout the name Shiloh, and then we can act like it wasn't us. If he responds to that, we'll know without a doubt it's him. Laffy, keep an eye out to see if he looks. Liz, why can't you try talking to him normally? Likely without even hearing what you had to say, Liz put her plan into action. Shiloh! She loudly projected the word across the way and then put on an act of casualness, turning her head away from the scene while brushing at the skirt of her dress. In a supremely awkward moment, you could only stand there as attention in the area shifted to the two of you thanks to your sister's shout. But of the many startled bystanders who became altered to your presence, one of them was the boy. From a distance, his large eyes met yours. He looked. Wide grin took over Liz's face. She pushed the rim of her sun hat up and away from her face while swishing back around to greet her old friend directly. Shiloh! Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet. Without really closing the gap, she wanted him to come to her. Who you presumed to be Shiloh looked surprised at the call-out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and hesitantly glanced back your way. He was trying to double-check something. Liz remained steadfast with her gaze trained on him, and ultimately he broke away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of Liz and you.
Hi.
Hi. I like your hat. Just that simple greeting had Liz giggling.
Hey.
Hello, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie and that's Laffy. We were all friends when we were little kids. His already wide eyes grew even larger, their gaze darting between you and Liz. His previously chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. I'm really sorry, but I think you have the wrong person. You could tell not being instantly recognized was going to make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undeterred. It was a long time ago, you were really young. I get why you feel like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You're exactly the same. That face, the freckles, how genially you try to phrase things. You're even still wearing a hat. Instinctively, he looked up at his headwear with creased brows, not making the connection on why the hat meant something to her.
Okay.
We knew each other, okay? An uneasy smile settled on him as a silence followed Liz's speech. He was picking his next words carefully. And then that quiet was obliterated by a new voice bursting into the conversation. Shiloh, what are you doing? The rest of the group already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We are on a schedule. startled, your head snapped towards the path. A distinctly unhappy individual with piercing magenta eyes, dark brown skin, and a sharp draw stormed your way. He carried a cloud of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. Sorry, I didn't mean to ditch. Shiloh, whose name was now officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add to the explanation of his absence as the strangers watched impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it was a tiny misunderstanding. Liz, theoretically as well, literally put her foot down at that, stopping in frustration and getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion.
Come on.
We do know you! Shiloh merely shrunk in on himself. The tone he spoke with was pained. Sorry. You honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upset feelings of your sister or the palpable dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That in itself was very Shiloh-like. Oh, you know him, is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissively scoffing tone, as if the words sounded so absurd to him it was almost amusing. Almost, but the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you, I'm someone who has been forced against his will to be aware of what's going on in Shiloh's ridiculous personal life for a year. If the two of you had any importance in his general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother trying to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have. It's not good enough. He's with us and you'll survive without him. Now stop loitering in the road. It's rude.
Excuse
me? We're the rude ones? The high-strung ranting got an audible gasp from Shiloh, who finally started to speak up again in defense. Nate, that's really mean. It's also true. We're leaving. With that declaration, the unofficially introduced Nate indignantly spun on his heels and walked speedily towards where the group went, completely confident that Shiloh would follow behind. People can sure have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just try to get along? It's not hard. Don't worry, though. I bet you won't have to deal with him again. And I'm sorry I can't stay to talk to you, but I hope you have a really nice life.
Bye.
Bye. This is sad. And that was it. His final parting words given, Shiloh left the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit stunned, only to frown when it hit her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast you hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up releasing with the breath. Could have told him his last name was Fields, his birthday is October 30th. That would have proved it, but no. I'm sorry, Liz. He felt so bad for your big sister. He had been such a close friend in her early years, and their reunion was completely ruined. You want to go catch up with him? Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we can leave it there, thanks. He's in the middle of a high school field trip, and it was already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. Though, if given the chance, I could definitely have a few words with him about the company he's got. She laughed, but you could tell there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at that guy, even if she was happy to let Shiloh go. Maybe they're only with each other because of the trip, and it's not usually how things are.
Right?
True. We can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Shiloh. We'll miss you. Very bittersweet, yeah. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby bro. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you really felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappear and reappear in the most unexpected ways. Yeah, I mean, all Nates I know are poopy. The two of you enjoyed what remained of your outing until it was time to return home. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. You arched your back as you stretched your arms toward the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover an entire week. Liz tried to hide a yawn behind her hands. You weren't the only one feeling worn out. I'll be heading up to your room, the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out the door. The tone was light. She had quite a lot to say on the subject when you'd first taken over her bigger room after she left for college. But there have been many trips back home for her since then. The room hasn't been hers for years. It was more of a running joke now that she continued to bring the topic up to this day. I didn't see your name on it. You wouldn't, after clearing out every possession I had left behind. That's right. I don't leave evidence behind. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've got your own place and we're both in town for a visit. We could take turns. You'll have Thanksgiving, I'll get Christmas. What a reasonable and mature suggestion. I'll think about accepting it. She flashed her familiar grin. You couldn't help but feel glad she was back around, even if it was temporary. With that, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into a new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. We get to design our room. Holy smokes. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, I love this. Okay. That's classy. I like that. Is there anywhere we actually have a decent sized bed? That one seems bigger. Come on, game. Let me see how pretty Cove is. I know, right? Like, he looked the age that we are when he was 13. Is he gonna just have, like, the biggest beard and, like, frown lines now? Like, no to that. I think this is cute. I like the shells there. Okay, so I can't have any extras at this point, but windows. Oh, okay, that's cute. Oh, and I could just keep clicking on it. Yeah, I can't keep clicking on that. That's fine. So we can kind of cycle through this. Okay, so those are our options. Yeah, he just doesn't even wear a shirt now. I like that pot. That's cute. Oh, that's so cute. We're going the stuffies. I like the notice board. Look at that seal taking a selfie. I'm here for that. I think I like that. And that. Ooh, space wall. Okay, it's just that for the space wall. I think no. I think lights, and then I can't. Okay, so I have to have. All right, that's fine. So then let's grab the space. No, I think that. Floor. No. Guitar. Telescope. Let's throw a guitar in there. That's a very small guitar. You were really satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down another yawn. It was no good. Your bed was now lodged in your mind and all you could think about was collapsing on it. You trudged up the stairs to your room. Okay, so I was thinking about this. I was talking about this, I think, yesterday or today with V. But you know what? I'm super. That is true. I am a small man. I'm super excited about. I'm gonna be able to play Baldur's Gate 3 now. I'm actually gonna be able to play this damn game that I want to play. Super excited about that. That and like I bought and downloaded Cyberpunk 77 probably like 6-7 months ago, and I just couldn't play it because it just wouldn't run on my computer well. So I'm excited about being able to actually play that too. Stepping inside, you closed the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realized you were not alone there. Comfortable. Guys. Is this it? Is this it? Is he back? Guys, is he here? Has he returned? Comfortably perched on the windowsill was someone very familiar to you. Holy shit. Guys, he's so hot. Holy heckers. Oh, he's so hot. He's so hot. Holy shit. Thanks for the hydrate, Dal. I need to cool down. Holy moly. Here's a tall glass of water right there. Oh my lord. Oh, wow. He's so hot. Guys, he's too hot. It's not okay. Jesus Christ, goddamn. Cove Holden. The shock knocked all words out of you. You're damn right. Surprise. His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise. You hadn't expected him to be within the state, never mind your own house. Bye, Pan Panic. Yep. He hadn't answered how he had suddenly just appeared back in Sunset Bird, though to be fair, you'd been too astounded to actually ask the question. Thankfully, Cove took the hint from your stunned expression and began to explain.
So...
I got in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. The window. A small smile had formed on his face. You were still staring at him, at his holy heckin' hotness. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could still barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. I left my bags in your backyard. I hope that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back to town. You were his first port of call, taking precedence above all else. Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'd see you at the earliest opportunity, rather than allowing his plans to change. You shook your head at his antics. Everything from the situation to his solution was such a Cove thing to do. Cove dropped from his seat on the windowsill, landing lightly on his feet. He made his way over to you, the smile still resting on his face. I missed you. We kiss him. Straight away, let's go. Instinctively went to close his eyes as your face leaned in closer to his. What? He looks so stupid here though in this shot. Come on. Haven't seen him in a good month. He met you partway and the two of you shared a gentle greeting kiss. You then stepped back a bit. Stop giving him this stupid face! Stop giving him this stupid goddamn face! Cove rubbed the side of his head and furtively glanced down. Though he couldn't help getting a little nervous, still, he was beaming. I missed you too. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks burying his eyes, which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Cove's brow creased as he considered your question. Cove stepped towards you. He cupped your face with his hands, gently guiding your chin so your eyes met his. You could feel the beat of your racing pulse against his fingertips. I hated it. Let's never be apart again, okay? He said that absolutely as a joke, an exaggeration. Something that wasn't a real request, of course, and yet, despite all that, it felt real. Your heart hammered in your chest, your heart swam, cast adrift on a tide of thoughts and adrenaline. Cove smiled, as if offering a silent apology for his sudden onslaught of tenderness, but he let the words proudly hang in the air all the same. The artist really went all in on that first windowsill shot. Oh yeah, his hair's covering his wriggly eyebrows. I wonder if that's on purpose. By him. Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. Soon you'd even recovered enough to actually listen. His mum was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. As a result, can I hear? This feels, no, this hasn't changed. As a result, Cove was going to be sticking around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled, as much as they ever could be. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. At ease? At ease? Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set out while you were busy reuniting. I'm gonna say, he's less hot in his, standard, just standing pose. When he was on that windowsill, though, holy heck. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set while you'd been busy reuniting.
Well,
I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Want to come with me? Sure. I can go over for a little while. Cool. Cove began to head to your bedroom door. It's just not a piggyback ride. Yes. Yes. Cove. He paused, turning to face you. I'm not planning on walking there. Cove shook his head, the smile at his face implying that it was you and your senses he was questioning, not the request. He'd come to expect the latter, even if he didn't get why it held such appeal for you. I'm short, and you have long legs. And such a beautiful back to be held against.
all right.
Okay. He crouched low so you could hop on his back. Cove had many inches on you in height, so getting on his back for rides had been a challenge over the years. It sometimes ended with one or both of you sprawled over the floor. At this point, he knew exactly how far he needed to bend down. This understanding and your extensive practice made it relatively easy for you to climb aboard the Cove Express now. Cove straightened up with poise, accustomed to balancing someone over his shoulders. Cove carried you down the stairs. You had to duck down a couple of times, the ceiling grazing against your elevated head. Still, you safely reached the ground floor of your house. The door's gonna be in the way. Get off here so I could open it up. He bent down to let you slide safely off his back. Seeing things from your usual height was disorienting after getting accustomed to looking down at everything. In all the excitement of Cove's return, you hadn't even remembered the gift you'd prepared for when he got back. It would be best to give it to him now before he left your house. Can you wait here for a little while? I got something for you. Cove tilted his head, intrigued.
Really?
Really? You nodded with some eagerness, trying to imagine how he'd react when he actually saw it. Couldn't be something you could buy. It was. Ooh. Yeah, a white poppy from the hill behind your house. You hurried back to your room to collect the gift. Your fingers shook as you picked it up, beads of water rolling off the stem and back into the vase. The poppies had bloomed on the hills a little while back. The Cove hadn't been around to see them. You inspected the flower for any flaw, any color seeping into the white petals, but it was as pristine as when you picked it. Whether that was luck or any one of the number of tricks you'd read to keep fresh flowers for as long as possible, you didn't know. But you were glad all the same. You cautiously brought it downstairs, making sure it didn't get too jostled on the trip back. His eyes were already on you and what you were holding. By the time you got off the last step, there was no hiding it. So you silently held it out to Cove.
That's
your favorite flower, I know. I wanted to make sure you had one this summer since you weren't around as much. His blue irises quivered as he reached out to accept the tiny poppy. His next words were a whisper. You got me my favorite flower. Cove smiled, though his lips trembled as if he was holding back tears. Cove reverentially laid the gift safely on the counter, but he didn't turn back to face you once he'd ensured it was secure. Though his face was angled away from you, you caught his eyelashes fluttering as if batting away tears. His throat bobbed as he swallowed bubbling emotions. You knew the Cove could be sentimental. The gift and all the memories and feelings tied up in it seemed to have taken a toll on it. When he began to sniffle, you felt the need to reach out. Cove? I can't, you just... Fluffy, I don't know what to do. He forcibly scrubbed at his eyes like he was trying to push the tears that threatened to spill back in. Cove, it's okay. Do you need to cry? No. Nevertheless, tears had begun to spill down his cheeks. Even as he wiped them away, more took their place. Thank you. His voice quavered as he spoke. Cove reached out. Can I get this a little over here more? Fluffy is still a crier, yeah. Cove reached out. You gladly stepped forward to meet him. He laid his warm hands against your cheeks and brought his lips to you. You kissed Cove until the need for air finally wore one out. Head spinning, you were glad of the security of Cove's hands. Even after your lips had parted, Cove remained close, his hands still framing your face. Pearl, hello, how are you, Hope you're well. Yeah. What's going on? What is going on, Pearl? Hope you're doing super well. It is a Catboi Cafe stream today. We are vibing, playing a cute dating sim. We're in our third summer. We are entering the world of adulthood. This is our longtime boyfriend, Cove, who is exceedingly hot on a windowsill. And we've just given him a very nice gift. Your stomach isn't stomaching? That's not ideal. I hope you feel better, okay? You're welcome. Cove let out a steady breath. It was far removed from the shaky gasps that had accompanied his sniffles. The tears had dried. Feels like it's burning inside? That doesn't seem ideal. Could it be some kind of like acid reflux? Hydrate, thank you, Pearl. And a posture check. I appreciate you. My back is hurt because of my sleeping position? Jeez. Have you considered sleeping better? His eyes were a little red, but open and at peace once again. He smiled, fully recovered from the emotion that had overcome him. You're really seriously too nice to me. You smiled back. You sleep on the couch? Goodness gracious, that doesn't seem ideal. I don't think there's such a thing as too nice when it comes to you. Cove brushed his hand against the pale ghost of a scar on his arm. He was at a loss for what to do now. The clock ticked away. Counting the seconds of silence. Once you had a chance to settle your thoughts, you'd figure you'd tell Cove the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier, I saw Shiloh today.
Huh?
Shiloh? Cove repeated the name, his expression blank. From when we were kids? Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved? I met a guy named Shiloh. He looked just like the Shiloh we knew, plus however many years. But he didn't remember me and just left. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know. Too bad I missed it, though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh for a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who were only ever together because of other people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh's up to these days. Yeah, folks, treat your boyfriend, 100%. I don't have any idea, he didn't say much.
Oh.
Oh, well. That was everything you had on that news item, so you moved on to the next big update. Also, you know the mean old neighbors? The ones who would always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories of back in the day. It was not pleasant, even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah? They're not coming? They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution for as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now as a teenager, you found your neck pricking as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think that coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I've missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something. And we'd better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. You nodded as soon as you'd left your house. Cove bent down to let you climb back onto his back for the last part of the journey. What a hero. He knows what to do. He knows how to treat me. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was soon upon you. I kind of wish I was short. Like, I'm not tall by any, measure. I'm, slightly below average height, but, I feel like being short would be... I feel like I'd fit being short. My, gremlin energy. Hold me! I think that'd be great. Top tier. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was soon upon you. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dun 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 ta 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 ta. No offense, Cove, yellow isn't a good color on you. It's too warm of a color. Yeah, it is a bit of a clash. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cove was finally back home. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Your mum was watching you with a teasing smile.
All right.
So, what's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you. You knew both of your mums wanted you to enjoy every bit of this summer before all the big changes started. Like puberty at 18. I'll try.
That'd be great.
But before you go gallivanting around the town, could you bring the mail in? I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. All right. Thanks very much. Oh my God, Clifford. Cliff. I could stare at that man's chest. Holy heck. I love his shirt. Oh. As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around in the road. They noticed you too.
Hey.
Hey there, Laffy. Cove smiled lightly and waved. When you began making your way over, he added, "Hi." How smooth and suave. Ruffled his hair. Cove smirked at you, knowing exactly what you were about to do. You reached up on your tiptoes and ruffled his hair gently, admiring how soft it was between your fingers. You smiled at him affectionately until you started taking your hand back. That's when you teasingly bopped him on the nose with your index finger. Thank you for the hydrate, Dal. Hydrate or die straight. Whoop. Look, I'm sorry. All the men in this are hot. His smirk dropped to a look of surprise, and then he chuckled. He definitely thought it was cute. You noticed Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. And that's the end of that chapter, boys. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing on the tip of his tongue, but he decided to keep it to himself. So, what are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Cove are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning, Mr. Holden stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it'd only be polite to greet the new folks in town. Maybe it'll be a single dad and his son. You've been here too long if you seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting development. Yes, I'm dying to see the newcomers. Your response was just a shrug. I don't want to meet them. Will anyone has to be better than the last tenants? You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is what you consider an exciting development. I was a little bit snarky when I was younger. I was a bit snarky. I was a sassy, snarky one. For several moments, Mr. Holden was unable to answer. Posture check, thank you. For several moments, Mr. Holden was unable to answer. He was laughing and slightly shaking his head. You might be onto something. Cove put a reassuring hand on his dad's shoulder.
Don't worry about it.
You could still make the most of your life before it's too late.
What?
How old do you think I am? I'm not that old. Okay, maybe I am. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the currently vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of him, and I still need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. You've activated my nosiness card. That works. He moved to firmly place both hands over Cave's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Don't fix your child. He wants to have kids. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. It's always been the one thing I do best. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. It's nice to know he's got a much better relationship with his dad. Cove's dad was kind of a bother. I really like Mr. Holden. It helps that he's hot. You had for a long time. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I'll be hanging around the street for a while. Good luck. See you later. Bye. I can wait with you. You wouldn't abandon Cove there to wither on the road out of boredom. Really? Of course, I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you a moment, smiling softly and thinking about his response.
Me too.
I like that too. I feel like I'm voicing me too low, though. I feel like I'm just voicing him as me, and that's feeling weird to me. Even though we're kind of treating it as me as an adult, but I'm also like 30 now. This character is 18. Cove put his hands on your shoulders, his thumbs absent-mindedly moved in a soothing circle. The look in his eyes was much firmer. He was serious. Laffy, you're my true ally in this world. That got a fair amount of chuckles from you, he grinned, the stoicism fading into amusement.
Thank you.
I knew you'd stay for me. You're lucky to have me. Teasingly, Cove raised an eyebrow. You're the most lucky guy in all of Sunset Bird. Luckiest. For a moment, you weren't sure if Cove was laughing at your declaration or that you momentarily forgot the word luckiest. Well, that's a dang mood. Either way, you didn't mind. The smile on his face reached his eyes and it made you feel electric. And then he let go of you. Cove stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front porch steps. You both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settled in for the waiting game on the new tenants. The neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Ooh. Ooh. That's a bad wind. It's hard to do wind when you are worried that your mic won't pick up, you're just blowing. Eventually you both perked up at the sound of a car. A taxi followed the noise, turning onto your street. Cove's eyebrows raised at that sight, and he sat up straight on the stoop. It's Jeremy!
Oh?
This has to be them, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel just a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. The taxi pulled to a stop as you expected in front of a now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door as it opened. A single occupant exited the cab. Huh? You could feel what Cove was. In that moment. Oh, you could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not what you'd expected. Oh, baby. It's a twink. It's a goth twink. It was a young man, had to be close to your own age. He was dressed fully in an eclectic black, white, and grey outfit. Even his side-swooping hair matched the scheme. The only other pop of color was from something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. a pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught when he looked over at his audience. Alright, what kind of voice are we giving him? I feel like I want him to be like, kind of like, hey folks, who might you be? But that does not fit this twink. Hey folks, who might you be? We're the neighbors. That voice is too close to Cove's. The smile already prominent on his face curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. Hallelujah! You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coordinated man left it there, however, and with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride. Then he turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Or do we, like, go like, hey, I'm Gerald. Yeah, let's go like the kind of like emo-ish look and feel, and like the kind of like gothish feel instead of the twink. Because realistically, we're all twinks in this. Continuing on with his own business, he strolled forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll it down. When it opened, he leaned down and rested his arm on the edge. You assumed he was thanking the driver for getting him there, considering he slipped them a tip during the brief chat. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up and away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight around the corner. The new renter had officially arrived. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up to greet this person. You followed suit.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, he's so smarmy. I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side he was approaching from when Baxter got close enough. He offered his hand to you first. What is with this game and wanting me to low-five people? I feel like that's in every interaction is low-fiving. No. We shake his hand. I'm not why low-fiving? It's at least high-five, but like so much is like, you low-five. No, I'm not gonna low-five anyone. What? Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give a satisfying shake. Hey, hi Baxter, I'm Laffy. Hey Laffy, I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. From your other side, Cove made a sudden sputtering noise. Low five is a play on your too short to high five. How rude. And you, He lifted his hand out to Cove next. Cove instead crossed his arms to express his rejection of that idea, still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for an unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove a moment.
Really?
Now wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past, but it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove. That's gorgeous.
What?
It's really not. Only I get to fluster him? That's exceedingly cute. Hey, only I get to fluster him. Oh, I'm sorry, did I do that? It wasn't my intention. Baxter grinned welcomingly. The entire conversation brought a burning red blush to Cove's face, and he couldn't make eye contact with either of you. You noticed that Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. I'm sorry, it wasn't intended to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I'm patently against stepping on anyone's toes. I don't know what that means. As in like patents? Patently? I've never like heard that in this context before. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden there in those words. And you notice that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your faces to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position on his feet. Means he would rather not? Okay, fair. I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking.
Well.
He grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Cove peeked at you, smiling softly. You felt his familiar touch as he squeezed your hand for a moment. I already have a partner. Laffy's the only one I'd want to dance with, sorry. He's my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. You're both together? Yeah, we are. Now that's crushing. But that makes total sense. I got here too late. Should have taken a semester off sooner.
I get it.
That's a joke, really. I didn't mean to intrude on anything you have with the other. Exactly. Cove is the guy I'd dance with. Baxter smiled and nodded understandingly, letting the subject go. After that, there was a lull in conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it.
So...
What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh, yes. Well, time to make a poly relationship, I'd say. Not with this guy. He's far too smarmy. I know people like this. I don't want to be with him. Oh, yes. Well, my parents rented a condo, so I had place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. I see Derek as friendship material. I think he's perfect and adorable, but, like, I don't want to date Derek. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued.
Honestly.
Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but lucky for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Baxter then preemptively lifted his hands up in front of his chest, giving the gesture for meaning no harm. It's nice not to be the only one my age around the neighborhood for an entire summer, nothing more. That was a story you had heard before, the same one as when Lonely Cove and his dad moved in all those years ago. Cove wasn't relating. Still. You could have phrased it like that in the first place. I don't feel the need to keep words of praise to myself, but they're not romantic come-ons. I see that you two are very much a committed pair. I'd like to be friends, if we can, but that's all. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. Glad we're working things out. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. Laugh, recently I started liking K-pop, nice. But more of like a loud rock and punk type, I guess. That's fair. I don't really know K-pop at all. It's not a genre I've listened to a lot, so I don't know the different styles of it and things, but hey, if you're liking K-pop, hell yeah. Power to you. Love the things you love. Like, I almost exclusively love show tunes and Celtic music. Like a nerd. Both of the group's names are kind of hilarious. Perfect. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward.
So,
which condo was yours? How long have you been living together? Oh, no. Cove sputtered again, and unintentionally a laugh escaped you.
That's...
We're both your neighbors, but we live in different houses with our parents. As if second nature, the two of you pointed to your homes, the buildings directly across the street from each other. Baxter's eyebrows raised at that. Your neighbors who started dating? Stray kids? Amazing. What a couple of lovebirds. You're the backbone of romantic society. I like playing this guy. He's fun. Honestly, I hope you never break up. If you can make it work, there might be a chance for the rest of us. You knew Cove well enough to tell there was a little bit of amusement in his expression, but he sighed in exasperation. After that, you had no doubts about his claims of being complimentary. You were really starting to get a kick out of it. They're called Stray Kids, and they're the first ever group to have the leader to choose the members. Huh. Got a couple Aussies and a couple bangers. Oh, nice. Well, if either of you are free, I'd be thrilled to hang out this summer, but we could save the schedule talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of the head and flashed you both a dazzling smile.
Goodbye.
Goodbye for today. Cove simply waved goodbye. Bye, Baxter. See you. You're from Malaysia, and one of the members called Han had went to school in Malaysia before. That's awesome. I love that. Baxter then turned on his heels and strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up and bringing it into his condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm going to explain that guy to my dad. You burst into a fit of laughter trying to imagine the conversation. At least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor, and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. I'm making him too... I don't know how to voice him well. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. Looking forward to seeing more of him. You thought he was charming. I think he's charming. You respected Han ever since? Nice. Is it Han or Han? Like Han Solo or like Ham? You really weren't sure when, but at some point Baxter won you over. You were curious to get to know him better. Laughing quietly, you wondered how Baxter would fit in with the rest of the neighborhood. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all thoughts of Baxter aside. Lily! Hello, gorgeous. How you doing? I hope you're doing super, super well. We think you're great. But we are in the third stage of this dating sim. It is our third... it is a summer where we have just graduated high school, and this is our last summer before adulthood takes its sway. A new smarmy kid who's our age has moved into a condo for the summer. Yeah, we're seeing what happens now. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started making your way towards town. Let's take his arm. Take his arm. I'm a big, arm in arm person. Smiling at him, you hooked your arm around his. Cove hummed happily in response. A little while later, you and Cove reached a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stopped walking. What's wrong? I think I heard my phone. You dug your cell phone out and looked at it with a satisfied grin. There was a new message. You opened a new text from Miranda, and all you saw was, "I can see you." Immediately from where you stood, you started swiveling your head around. You couldn't spot Miranda anywhere, but she did send you messages. I saw you holding Cove's arm. Scandalous! Where are you? Come on. Really, Randy? Oh, I'm choosing this. I feel like an ellipse. The message was sent and you were back to looking around, scanning for any sign of movement and familiar faces, but they were still invisible. Cove looked at you carefully, raising an eyebrow. Miranda, come on out! Cove jumped a bit with your sudden outburst. He raised an eyebrow and looked at you carefully. What's happening? Before you could even begin explaining anything to Cove, you both snapped your attention to the yelling from across the street. And there you saw Miranda and Terry coming out from behind the backside wall of the grocery store. They both started waving widely to draw even more attention to themselves. Cove took a step in their direction. He grinned and waited for them to get closer. Laughing and arm in arm, the girls stopped only to look both ways. Good. Safety first. And then rushed across the empty street.
Hi.
Oh, she's so cute. She's beautiful. Oh, I love her. She's precious to me. If anything ever happens to Miranda, I will get so upset. She's perfect. I love her. Hi, I hope you weren't waiting too long.
Hey, buddies.
Oh, I love her. She's great. Hey, buddies. There's too many girls in this. I'm like, how am I voicing all of these characters? All like almost the same. Hi. That joke was not funny. I'm amazed. How did you appear out of nowhere like that? They started giggling again. Terry glanced at Miranda, wondering what their story should be.
Ooh.
It was magic. Gesturing in a vaguely whimsical manner, Terry went along with the decision. And magicians never reveal their secrets. Ooh. And magicians never reveal their secrets. Ooh. Yeah, I like that voice for her. That's fair. Terry then closed the distance between her and Cove and crushed him in a painfully tight hug. You're finally here. It's been so long. What took you? He did his best to eke out a reply with his chest being compressed.
Sorry.
Sorry. Eventually, she let him go. Terry looked at him with a beaming smile, but Cove was distracted, rubbing his arms. Standing there, Miranda shifted her weight to her other hip. She watched Cove patiently with a bashful smile. Welcome back. Thanks. It finally felt official. Everyone was together in one place. From here, you weren't sure how often you would have another afternoon like this again. Blueberry, hello gorgeous. How you doing? How you doing? Another afternoon like this again. They didn't either.
So?
Cove? Yo, 1 year, 2 days. That's insane, Blueberry. Hell yeah. Amazing. That's huge. To get to be here 2 days ago, that's a big satch. Terry poked Cove square in the chest. You're gonna have to get me your schedule by this time yesterday.
No way.
Not really possible, Terry, but I can say as soon as I know. So far work hasn't said anything, but I can tell you I'm busy with Orca activities. Been here for a year? That's so cool. And what a year it's been. When Cove wasn't at his part-time job or pursuing his academic interests, he volunteered for the Ocean Restoration California affiliation, Orca. The group focused on cleaning up beaches and removing pollution from the ocean. Cove always loved the sea. It didn't surprise you one bit when he started getting involved with them. Guys, he's actually perfect. Yeah. I know it's been a year because I have a name day today. Oh, okay, cool. You joined Orca too after learning of it. Their big smash event for the year is coming right up, isn't it? Yeah, there's not much more to do before then, but I'm kind of looking forward to the fundraising push. Hopefully we can pull it off. Also going home today. Yo, I hope it's a really nice day. That's sage? But nice at the same time? Yeah. If anyone could do it, it's you two. And even if it goes really bad, it'll still look good on the college application at least. That's true.
Hey!
Hey, guess what else? We don't have to stand here to stay stuff. Let's go! I would like a meal now. Perking up, Cove nodded in agreement. Yeah, for sure. The four of you headed into town, happily chatting the whole way. The only decision left to make was where exactly to stop and eat. The rest of the afternoon and evening passed by in a blink of an eye. When night fell, it was time to head home, and you parted ways with Miranda and Terry. You and Cove reached your neighborhood without event. It was late enough that your out-of-the-way street was dark and silent. Walking tiredly after such a long day, you strolled with a skip in your step, ambled along. Cove was giving you a piggyback ride. Not every time. You stroll with a skip to our step. Days like today, filled with good food and good company, left you feeling energized. As you walked alongside Cove, you peered at his face out of the corner of your eyes. Cornus is really nice. I love this city. Sad to not be able to chill out today with people I met. That's very fair. Are you... Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You were doing a kind of placement thing. Well, maybe you might end up there. But experiences are so good. I remember when I was working in sales for our Lizard King, Rupert Murdoch, at News Corp, I went to Adelaide to train up like a sales team. And it was like the best chapter of my life, just being there for a month, training, setting things up, and just meeting all these people. It was one of the best chapters of my life. It's really cool, like just being in a different place for a bit and doing stuff. Big fan. Days like today, filled with good food and good company, left you feeling energized. As you walked alongside Cove, you peered at his face out of the corner of your eyes. You wondered why he felt so distant to you. It was out of character. For a while, Cove silently stared ahead and left you alone with your own thoughts. It surprised you when you did hear his voice all of a sudden. He still wouldn't look at you. Feels weird coming back to the neighborhood and trying to get into things like they're the same. And they're not. They've changed. They're still changing. Your mouth felt uncomfortably dry all of a sudden. It was true. The things that kept the people you knew together were starting to disappear. Each person had to make their own priorities and their own path now that it wasn't set for them. You lost the game? No! Thank you for the follow, friend. I appreciate you. Because internet is not the best now, I will go. That's totally fair, Blueberry. I appreciate you immensely. And have a good trip home, alright? Take care. You thought about your own immediate future. If you had to choose in this very moment, you wanted... God, I don't know. I mean, me, at this time, work part-time. I mean, that's all I did, but let's go, to go to school part-time, maybe. And that was the basics. For your career, you thought you'd... My name is a toxic wasteland spreading radioactive knowledge to others about a game. You're not wrong. Work online, contract work, start your own business. I don't know. I mean, yeah, find a company to work at. Maybe start a business. For your education, you thought you'd community college, public university, private college, join a trade school, take online classes. So I'm not American. Can someone tell me what the difference is between like community college and like a public university? Because I assume a trade school is kind of like our TAFE. Let's go community college. Maybe take online classes. And for that, you wanted to... At least stay local. It'd all be happening so soon. Hadn't begun to do anything about that yet. I'm personalized teaching or self-teaching one of the most effective learning sources in some cases? Yeah. Well, personalized teaching, absolutely. It's always the best way to learn is to have it tailored to what's going to work for you. And we kept it all to ourselves because I'm very good at bottling. Well, I was when I was like 18. Now you wondered what Cove had in mind. You'd heard him consider some things for his future, but there was never anything that would have counted as a real plan. Making it back home, you both stopped in the middle of the street. Cove sighed. Cove looked at the ground for a moment. His mouth trembled, trying to settle on the right words to say.
So...
We're gonna have to talk about it. The future. He was right. It wasn't something that two of you could keep avoiding. You did your best to articulate what he could expect to see. And he listened quietly. Cove closed his eyes and nodded while he composed his thoughts. He looked at you when he lifted his head. Mostly self-taught myself several calculus concepts, and now I can estimate 3 to the power of 3 using that. Cool. Heck yeah.
Here, kitty. You can have cheeseburger.
Welcome in, Phoenix. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? We are 18. We have graduated high school, and we are trying to figure out what our future is. We are dating officially with Cove.
I mean...
I decided on something. Well, kind of. He smiled slightly and rubbed his arm, and then his expression grew more serious. I'm doing good. I've had a good day. We ordered the computer today. My monitor's been shipped. So overall, everything's coming up Millhouse. Smiled slightly and rubbed his arm, and then his expression grew more serious. Is he gonna want to move out of state? I'm not gonna decide on a school or a career. Not this summer. I'm gonna stay here, at least in Sunset Bird. I'll probably move out of my dad's place. I'll keep working my job, keep doing my volunteer stuff, and everything else. Yeah! The money finally came through today, so I did the old.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll know what I want for myself by fall or next year, or maybe I'll never have a plan. Life will continue on with whatever's happening. I'm not gonna crush myself trying to have everything figured out by a timeline that someone else has set. I just can't do it. His brow furrowed and his tone was tense. It was clear how much expectations were weighing on him.
I guess
it'll be me and you, right? Here for a little while longer. His eyes were glossy. You weren't gonna be separated, and that meant a very great deal to him. Plan sounds very you. You nodded understandingly. You're glad that the two of you would be in Sunset Bird together. Somehow I'm not surprised things turned out like this. You were glad the two of you would be in Sunset Bird together. Elated, you smiled. Cove looked relieved that you were happy with this turn of events. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, Laffy. I'll see you. Night. He pulled you into an unexpected hug. It took the breath out of you, yet couldn't have been a more reassuring feeling. You returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as you could.
Good night.
Night. He finally let go, giving you another smile. Then Cove started walking away, but you remain there, frozen in the middle of the street. Oh, I'm so excited to not have to wear this for a bit. You watched him and wondered how many more times will he be able to say that he'll see you tomorrow. You hoped for countless more times. Finally, you turned towards your own house. You vowed to yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. Alright, we got a hang that looks like it involves pizza. We got errands, talks, charity that has something to do with bubbles, and drive. Do you guys have anything you are leaning towards? What's this DLC? Oh, Baxter. So Baxter becomes with a DLC, you can have Baxter be a love interest in this age, this summer. What I'm actually going to do, folks, my water bottle is already empty. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to run some ads while we take a break. And I'd love if you could take this opportunity to take a break yourself, have a glass of water, maybe a bite to eat, move your body around, just have a bit of a stretch, all right? I care about you, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. And we're back, folks. Hope we're doing well. Man, what a day. What a destiny. Alright, let us get back in. There's not a whole lot of people in today, and that's totally fine. So we're just gonna try and just smash through it. Let's just kind of, for now, unless we've got any other options, let's just go left to right, I suppose. We're gonna do hang. You grabbed the large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle from your upcoming beach hanging session. The stars had aligned, and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. Hit the beach. You were hoping this would be a fun time together. Oh! Guys, Cove used to wear a wetsuit. This is unfair. This is exceedingly unfair. Guys. Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen ball. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up on his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was gonna do. Could have gotten a new one somewhere. What happened to all your swimsuits? You don't have to wear a swimsuit to the beach. You stayed quiet. What happened to all your other swimsuits? I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have some laundry to do. Anyways, I know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You now could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care.
I'm so glad.
But I'm glad I found it. I would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. My favorite trunks. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser amused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. Your height had complicated your swimsuit shopping. Not many swimsuits were well fitting on someone who's petite, but then for the shape of your body... So we went with like chubby, a little bit chubby when we were like 13. I think let's just say we're generally medium. And noticeable muscles, a little muscle definition. I've combined two elements for psychological damage, the game and Rickroll right after. You're so... We're so for love. You lost the game and so did I. Look, we're beach people. We like art and fashion and stuff. I reckon we work out a little. We have a little muscle definition. Build was toned and firm, with muscles that were there, though slight in size. You had lost some weight and were lighter than what you were when you were younger. You had to buy smaller clothing than what you used to wear. You had gained more muscle in recent years. It was clear when compared to how you were when you were younger.
Are you okay?
You alright? Yeah, I was thinking about some things. What things? What things? Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrows rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What do you think? I'm trying to like not go American just by the fact that I'm going nasal. And what do you think? What do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your identity further. You'd always felt sure about your gender. You wondered if your gender was really something you felt right about. The representation in this game is insane. Let's go with this one. You wondered if your gender was really something you felt right about. I've questioned it from time to time. You always let people call you him, but maybe there was more to it than that. And you had a naturally flat chest. You wanted it to be. You generally wore a padded bra over your chest. You had breast augmentation surgery. You left it like that, but you were considering options for it. You used a padded bra for now, but intend to get surgery later. That's the way you wanted it to be. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. We were comfortable in ours. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You had pretty much always felt good in your body. It was that way through your main growing years, and now that you were an adult, you didn't see that changing anytime soon. I didn't necessarily have like gender dysphoria when I was younger, but I certainly had body dysphoria. I was always exceedingly skinny. I was a really, really skinny person until probably 24, 25 when I started filling out. And I always hated it. I always hated how skinny I was. I always felt like my head was misproportionate to my body. But I certainly had dysphoria about it. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer, but before you could, you had something to say to him. What do you think about me? About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Luffy? You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that's changed? You pouted. Dug out your bottom lip and wham. Was it fair for him to say such things? Cove shook his head. His hand went up to try and unsubtly cover his smile. Stop giving him that stupid ass smile! Game! It's stupid on him. And just heads up, by the way, lost the game. This isn't our usual content. We usually play Minecraft, and I'm not usually in a maid outfit, but here we are. I was kind of worried you were so in your own head because something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad.
Hey.
Hey, Luffy. Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly toned today. It's... He answered not with words, but a solid okay sign. With both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he'd complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. You were taken a little back. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. You like that? Yeah. Started to flex, show off jokingly, flirtatiously stretched. But this done, you're so sweet and fantastic. You have some very good arms yourself. You hugged him, flirtatiously stretching. You fluttered your eyelashes and slowly stretched your arms out in front of you towards him. Your sleeve fell down, but instead of fixing it, you let it stay that way. You looked Cove straight in the eye as you openly displayed your arms. He cracked a huge smile. Luffy, this is too much for me to witness. Cove hopped up from his seat and fluttered his hands in front of you, gesturing for the display to stop laughing the whole while. You thought on some level he might not have been fully kidding around with that. He was flustered. You gave the poor guy a break and put the goods back down. He exaggeratedly wiped his brow and let himself fall back into place on the windowsill. Finally, you felt that was enough of the topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick up what you wanted to wear to the beach. Chose to wear casual clothes instead, picked a one-piece swimsuit, decided to wear a two-piece bikini, two-piece tankini, you wanted to wear your wetsuit, swim trunks, no shirt, speedo without a top? Absolutely not. Swim trunks. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Sunnies, a hat, a shawl, as board shorts, as opposed to the trunks, as well as the trunks? Weird. Picked out a regular shirt to wear as well. Grabbed a full swimsuit cover up to wear as well. Took goggles. No, that's gross. We're gonna grab sunglasses. He was tapping his toe. I guess we're not picking multiple items. That's fine. He was tapping his toes on the side of the wall as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so, given how long he'd perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. I mean, how scandalous. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window, strolled past you to get back to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by.
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked up at you and smiled. Hey. Hi. Miranda and Terry are gonna be here in not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well...
She was mostly on schedule. Why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where you'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him, and he looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect.
So?
Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or do you want to do something here? Let's hop in the water. That's what I'm here for anyway. Cove nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absentmindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing, salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long before you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing, with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. Cheer to the antics. Woo! Yeah! Oh, those swimsuits are beautiful. I love. Everyone in this game is perfect. Miranda is so beautiful. I adore that character design. She's actually so beautiful. She's so pretty. The two officially arrived at Cove's and your setup looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. Hey Terry, Miranda, welcome to the beach.
Hey!
Welcome to our beach. Hi. Hello. She beamed and Miranda nodded with a smile.
Oh yeah.
Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What have you guys been up to over here in your town, Cove? Laughy, have we missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. Shrug at Cove, you gave a vague answer. Give a recap of how your family were doing? Yeah. Your mums were the same as ever for the most part, although they were definitely still adjusting to you being an adult now. Lizard asked you to take pictures of her latest makeup look the other day. There's nothing too dramatic going on right now. Terry nodded along and mentioned a couple things about her own parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brother had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. She's so excitable. The voice I've got for her isn't right. But don't worry about me being tired today, you know, but don't worry about me. I struggle doing, like, females, right? Because, like, I don't want to go, like, ooh, I don't want to go, like, ridiculous. But don't worry about me being tired today, you know, But don't worry about me being tired today. You know, I run less back. I can get, like, the right, like, shape of, like, getting, like, the kind of sound to be all right. But, like, for some reason, it's always in an accent. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know, I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She'd met up with Terry on the way here, and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, why don't we take this out to the water?
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. You felt pleased that Cove remembered what you wanted to do. Sometimes he could be thoughtful like that. Terry threw her stuff down on the sand and started running for the waves. Miranda was more careful, setting down her things, and waited for you and Cove. Cove tilted his shoulder to gesture over to the ocean.
All right.
I've been looking forward to this. The three of you made your way down to the shoreline together. Miranda cartwheeled and Terry clapped. Soon all four of you were in the waters. Cove swam out the furthest while Terry instigated a splash fight. There was rarely a quiet moment where someone wasn't laughing. Hours passed and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's side. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in the pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Important, folks. Sunscreen regularly. Hey. He ran his hands across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye while still sipping some water. Just maybe. Want me to get you back? Oh, I'd like that. Okay, I'll do it. Thanks. You scooted up behind your boyfriend and reached a hand around his front so you could squeeze a small pile of sunscreen into your hand. You rubbed your palms together, spreading the cream out more evenly, then began applying it softly to his shoulder blades. From there, you moved to the tops of his shoulders, the nape of his neck, and down his spine. Cove was mumbling the entire time, but you couldn't make out what he said. He might not have even realized he was doing it himself. The tone of his voice and the look on his face got the message across just fine, however. He was happy. You were too. After he and you finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again even more dramatically if you didn't say anything. Ugh. Oh, Cove, whatever it is, I'm sure you're going to be okay. After all, this is an excellent place to hide a body. Gestured to Terry, who was practically just a hill of sand with a human head at this point. That got a quick chuckle out of him, but he quickly hid his amusement. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. Oh, it was the most ridiculously sad sigh you'd ever heard. Ah! Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. What? That had not been what you were expecting. He continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid? Well, merfolk as a whole, I really hoped that they were out there. I mean, the ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have to have met one by now, or at least we would have heard or someone else seeing them, but nothing. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. Laughter. That was hilarious. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day. He looked at you with a faux, doubtful expression. I could have lost my boyfriend to their magical underwater world. I mean, I'd go with the merperson, but only if you could come with us too. Cove grinned. He hadn't expected that answer. You're a nice person, Luffy, but what if they didn't want me? Would you seriously stay on land? You gave him a look. You meant what you had said, and it'd only work if the offer was for both of you. Are you sure that's the right call? If a beautiful, kind merperson falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy. Are you warning me that you'd leave me if you got that kind of offer? Why are you so sure I'd have to make that call? Since this is all hypothetical, why not have you be the merperson? Ooh, baby. I don't want that. I should get to be a mer creature, and then I'd invite you to the underworld world. Cove, there's no one who could have made me leave you. Are you warning me that you'd leave if you got that kind of offer? You don't want me to be blindsided when you ditch me for a mer creature, if they're real? No, that isn't what I'm trying to say. I'm not the one who'd have to deal with that, you know. It isn't the same kind of thing. Merperson did magically appear. There's no chance it'd be me they'd call for. The more Cove spoke, the more it sounded like he could be merfolk himself. He was choking on air, a fish out of water. I mean, you're the one who's charming and talented. He barely eked the last words out. There isn't anyone who wouldn't choose you. Oh. You were completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. Saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. He surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
No way. The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda pat her head in her hands. There. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively, and Miranda offered high fives. Only a low 5 for me. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah! Resembling the Kool-Aid man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. I mean, that being said, that much sand is heavy. It's actually a bit hard to, like, just Kool-Aid man your way out of it. I've been completely buried before. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colorful cove caught in a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had run out of water, drinkable water anyway. It was decided that you'd head to your or Cove's house. Things were gathered and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What's next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same, I guess we can keep hanging out. Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see your house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert? Miranda put a finger to her lip in thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. I think that's a great idea. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove and his place. He shook his head immediately. Dad doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. Ew, no. She cut in and held her hands up as if trying to ward off some evil. Cove smirked.
Not bad.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
Nope.
Well,
there has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration.
I'm on it.
I'll search for something good. Terry got back to her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove and you from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced down at his bare chest and feet, having not even registered it prior. He chuckled a little. I'll grab something. You nodded as well. You weren't exactly restaurant ready like this. Cove moved over to his house. You looked towards yours. You ran into your house. No one was home, so you just rushed to your room and dropped off your beach stuff on your bed. We completely changed. You stripped and found a suitable outfit to go hang out in. You slipped it on and felt satisfied with your decision. We're fashionable after all. With that, you sped back outside. Cove was already there and gathered around Terry's phone with the girls. He'd opted to just add a shirt and shoes, apparently putting in the minimum effort for service. Hello again.
Hey.
You don't really want ice cream, do you? You didn't have a chance to answer. She kept barreling through with her words. Because I'm not into that right now.
that's cool.
Don't mind her. You look nice, by the way. Hello, Halo. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, we are Catboi Cafeing. This is our last day of the 3-day Catboi Cafe. And we're playing a cute little dating sim. And this is a reward for all of y'all for funding my gaming PC. And we're just having a really good time. Don't mind her. You look nice, by the way. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Oh, what about this place? They sell crepes. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy we are. She showed her phone shoved her phone into your face. Congrats on the new PC. Thank you. I have ordered it today, so hopefully it should arrive in the next couple weeks. Very excited about that. I've got a new monitor that's been shipped today, so I should get that in the next few days, hopefully. Very excited. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrapping for the crepes and well-applied toppings.
Huh.
Weird. I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious, but crepes are so good. She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. Yeah, we right-washed me in the dirt in his car. You noticed a thin coat of sand and dust on Cove's car. He had probably been a while since he'd washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote, "Wash me," with your finger.
Very nifty.
Good work. Good work. I wonder if he's gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun! She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry, don't you know boyfriend always gets shotgun? What the heck? That's illegal. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been pictures of the crepe's interior, and why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to, and one for the cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh. But how are you doing, Halo? I hope you're well.
Come on.
I don't think I needed to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go.
What?
Did you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured to the drive-thru option. Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people here, maybe. But wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently there'd been a dessert explosion topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. That's sweet!
So great.
Literally, it was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You can do it this time, Randy. The idea of calling someone called Miranda Randy is wild to me. Is that a thing? Do people call Mirandas Randy? There were some laughs when you got up to the menu. You realized that there were more than just crepes. There were definitely crepes, many crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, milkshakes.
Woo!
Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. Good on you, Randy. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration. That they had made, then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. Crepe and a drink. Let's go. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe itself, you wanted... Ooh, a green tea crepe. Let's go. For the filling and toppings, you picked... banana slices, some strawberries, and some powdered sugar. These food decisions are always the ones that I put so much thought into. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered ice green tea, chocolate milkshake, coffee frappe. Oh, we're 18. We can have coffee. We're having an iced coffee. You could also add a mix-in or toppings for the drinks. Chose to add whipped cream? No. Oh, I feel like the character we have would absolutely add whipped cream. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with toppings. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Miranda opted for a frappe with caramel syrup and condensed milk. The four of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, Laffy. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I couldn't pick just one, and why not? Exactly, it's gonna be so good. Laffy, man, your crepe is gonna rock. High five for topping appreciation. She held her hand out expectantly. Obviously we're doing a fist bump. Terry stared at your hands, she blinked, she looked between Miranda and you. Is this a thing now? I don't know what you mean. Miranda's voice was surprisingly serious, while her voice looked like she was seconds away from laughing. Terry shook her head dramatically. Order for Laffy. Oh, I gotta get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frappe over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell there was an intent to make it look nice. But with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. Cove, do you want to share ours? His face lit up with excitement as he passed you his crepe.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. You exchanged treats and took a chomp on the lemon crepe. It was light with the sourness from the lemon and the sweetness from the syrupy berry mix. The smoothie was finely blended with the occasional chunk of strawberry. Cove seemed to enjoy his taste, and then you swapped back. He smiled as he took a loud sip from his smoothie. Thanks. You always get good stuff. With Cove starting to eat his treats in earnest, you saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie, and then without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. Cove? Terry tore off a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cove. Care to make a trade? Sure. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frappe than Miranda did. You kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. You hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently you were about to just walk out into the middle of nowhere. Terry took her mouth off Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frappe. Impossible! Preposterous! How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe.
I guess.
It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. It definitely felt bigger then. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. It seemed as endless as the ocean. There was always some street you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists. But now, you had realized it was just a pond in this big, big world. Seeing the definite end only reinforced this. Here was the boundary that proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not only one Terry, there's four of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. He decided to ignore it, as I often do, with Nightcur and V and Dal and all of my friends. It stinks having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. It looks so hot looking like this. This shirt. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. Nikki, hello. Aunt Sean, what are you doing here? How you doing, Nikki? Hope you're well, hope you're well. It was so good. You're okay? I'm glad you're okay. And I hope that the goofiness of today's antics and streams let you be better than okay. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. It didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass. You're gonna cross-dress? Heck yeah. Keeping account of all the cars that drove past, it was not a high number. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside. But as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. Black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctly. Is it Baxter? Yeah, it's Baxter. Hey, neighbors. Cove openly sighed when he recognized him, afterwards sucking sulkily at the straw of his long, empty drink. Hi. You inhaled and tried to be loud enough to account for the distance and the car noises. It's nice to see you again. Instead of a sucky Sunday dress, I'm wearing a vest and flower bow tie. That sounds so cool. I love that. That's amazing. I love that. I would wear that. Somehow he was able to project his voice in such a way that it still sounded smooth, even though he was definitely speaking loudly. You wondered where he'd learned to do that. He's just naturally smarmy. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch, Terry tilting her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter and a light bulb went off for Terry.
All right.
Ah, that's the new person in the condo, the bee-man, right? Our old mum let me cross-dress for once? Yeah. I mean, it's not cross-dressing, it's just dressing. Yeah, Baxter.
Oh,
Oh, I wasn't sure if I'd actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible, this is perfect. Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. I'll send pictures? Heck yeah. Throw it in the media channel. Should I do a, selfies channel in the Discord? I might. I don't know, though. With the age range of my audience, probably not. Probably not a super safe thing. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and with clenched fists, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. We encouraged Cove to come. Come on, let's go and see him. Cove pouted. His cheeks flared out in a childish puff. I don't want to. I don't know what to say.
Fine.
You can go. I'll just wait until he's gone. You really should come. You can do it. Do you want to be the only person who doesn't go see him? Well, why can't you stay here with me instead? You sighed. He was definitely going to be difficult about this. Some days he really was that same grouchy 8-year-old that you met all those years ago. We'll stay with Cove. Two of you waited for the others to finish up. You couldn't hear what they were saying from there, but you could see from body language that Terry was up to something and Miranda didn't like it. You and your neighbor exchanged a look. After Miranda seemed to calm down slightly, Terry turned around to wave at you. She put her hands to her face to make a megaphone. Come on, get over here! Baxter is giving us a ride! Cove's mouth popped open in surprise. Then his lips curled together in clear displeasure.
All right.
I should have known. She's always pulling something. He took a slow breath and then shrugged. Guess we have to get over there. It's going to be really awkward now since he knows we tried not talking to him. Yeah, we can't hide over here forever. You followed him over to the car, apparently about to get a lift. Just happy to get a ride. Regardless of anything else, you didn't have to walk back. That's what counted, and you were grateful to Terry for arranging it. You arrived at the driver's side car window, and Baxter smiled welcomingly. Hello. Hey. Cove greeted him mildly, his expression cautious. Howdy, Baxter. Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. You excitedly opened the passenger side door and buckled yourself in. The car was pristine, and you were right near the new car's scented air freshener. Why did Baxter get a taxi if he had a car? Or has he, like, rented the car while he's here? Baxter had the air conditioner on cold but low, so it was pleasantly cool inside. A nice relief from the summer sun you had been baking in all day. Your friends clambered on in back. It definitely seemed the slightest bit squished back there.
Does that sound alright?
Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Terry went back to navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end of the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. It took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. We nudged Baxter in a friendly way. Leaned over the divider and gave Baxter a light-hearted push on the shoulder. He hadn't been expecting it, but quickly laughed and smiled at you. The celebration seemed to amuse him. We've arrived. That was easy. Terry flung open her door and climbed out.
Thanks.
Thanks. Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He'd finally discovered the wash me you'd put on it. Huh. I wonder who did that. You stick it along with Miranda, who realized you'd been caught.
Ooh.
It's a mystery. Right. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. And that goes for everyone here. I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. He did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of the head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. He's smarmy, but I hope he's nice. Cove doesn't like him, so we're gonna stay silent. We're gonna be in solidarity with our boo. When her giggles subsided, Terry put a hand to her chin with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
What? Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. Aperture science. Ooh. Yeah. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place. It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it. Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
That sounds doable. He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you.
Well,
We have two cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. We wanted to continue the hangout session on the park. I want Cove to, you weren't ready to tag out yet. You came to a decision and turned to Cove. Let's go to the park. All right, park time it is. I want Cove to warm up to Baxter, but I'm not going to, take Baxter's side over Cove. He smiled a little. Terry cheered and Miranda nodded happily. You felt like you made a good decision.
Yeah.
To the car! Again! Which car? There are multiple. You watched to see if Cove or Baxter had an answer. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on his car's hood nervously.
I guess.
We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly, I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. Neither you nor Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time, Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Play what you normally would, don't mind us. Yeah, I'd like to see what kind of a guy like you is into. I hope the playlist lives up to expectations. He plugged his phone into the car with an aux cord and turned on some alternative music. With the music taken care of, Baxter put the car in drive and pulled out of the parking lot. The lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyways. During the trip, it changed to hard rock, punk, and even screamo. Despite his personable demeanor, he didn't seem to like upbeat tracks. It took a while to arrive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. You walked by the basketball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. Miranda seemed amazingly content, the location helping her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point something out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
I've never been here, but I certainly see the appeal. Man, this is Randy's stomping ground. She's been coming here forever. I still think it's weird to refer to someone named Miranda as Randy, but like, sure. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You've missed out, Baxter, because every year she has a blowout party at the park. Imagine balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again with the attention on her. She let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat and Terry slid in beside her. You spent the evening chatting amongst each other. Everyone got to know Baxter a little bit better, even though you could tell Cove and him still hadn't fully clicked. At one point, Miranda found an abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast! She chuckled at it she chucked it at Baxter, who only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his cheek and he stared at it dazed. He blinked as if he needed time to process what exactly had happened, but then grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball, and rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. You bent your neck to watch its ascent and its inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. When it finally fell to the ground for real, Cove was the only one who picked it up. He was impressed. He wanted in. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang was not particularly practiced with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round off where she threw the ball with her feet, so that was cool. The sunset eventually darkened into night, and the street lights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast a shadow as they flew by. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Usually that only happens if there was a party or an important game or a fireworks show. Fireworks! Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from hand to hand. He missed catching it and it sailed sadly back to the ground. He looked at Terry for her loud outburst. I just remembered, there's going to be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. At everyone's questioning look, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I don't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But we should still be able to see the show if we get close. You can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Cove raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change locations again? Wasn't the last 2 times enough? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her, it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cove. What about you, Luffy, Randy, Baxter? Don't you want to see the fireworks? It's fireworks. We gotta go. I guess they are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? Says the artist who's drawing all these backgrounds. Yash, I knew there was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes locked to Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go.
Honestly.
Genuinely, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes but laughed. Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city and Baxter stepped on the gas. You were on your way. We're on our way to Wiggle Bay. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through a whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult to get through all the traffic on the road, let alone find parking this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes, and when it came to scoping out a spot, she pointed to a sedan pulling out, and Baxter parked within seconds. Not wanting to miss the show, you all raced down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about here? Cove peered across the rails into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see skyscrapers. That was a good sign, based on where Terry thought the event was. Yes, this should work just fine. She stopped and tried to catch her breath, her hands on her knees. Miranda leaned against the wall between establishments as she recovered. Cove took a moment to breathe as well, stretching his spine back. He looked up at the sky in wonder and let out a relieved sigh. Think we missed anything?
No way.
Not a chance. Nothing's happening and we can't be so late that we missed everything. Maybe it'll start soon? You felt excited. The spontaneity of the whole thing combined with the amazement of the fireworks was a recipe for you to be bursting with anticipation. It couldn't start soon enough. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter flashed an unreadable smile at Cove and you, and then took a spot next to the girls. Cove seemed surprised and looked over his shoulder to watch him begin to chat with Terry.
I think?
I guess he's trying not to upset us? Whether he left to make Cove and you more comfortable, wanted to escape potential awkwardness, or if he really had just hit it off with the girls earlier, was anyone's guess. That's nice. Something seemed to strike Cove as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. Most of us are in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city in the dark while waiting for a fireworks show was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back up to the sky. A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom and a red firework lit up the night. The show's starting! It's so pretty! They came running over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible, without just going swimming again. Baxter followed a few steps behind. His mouth hung open at the sight for a moment, till he caught himself and once again shifted to pleasantly composed. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surrounding with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden.
Welcome.
Did I deliver or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered, and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft.
Woo!
We did it! You smiled at her and nodded. You were pleased that you hadn't missed any of the show after all. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. You were uncomfortable with how near it was. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. Cove stared up to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up and then gasped when it bloomed and turned into a huge sphere of violet light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirits. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood close by, Terry's hands gripped the top. Cove laid his arms across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail. Putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Ooh! She pointed out a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool! Terry held a hand for a high five and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is that your favorite color? Green. It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And yours is black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. You stand next to the girls. The girls noticed you moving closer and made room for you in the middle. You stepped into the space and they smiled at each other. Vee, hello gorgeous, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We are 18 now. We are preparing for adulthood in our last free summer from, like, being a real human. We are now officially dating Cove. These are our friends, Terry and Miranda, and there's also Baxter, the smarmy new neighbor. And the two leaned in, sticking you firmly in between them. Terry laughed. Friend sandwich! Miranda laughed as well and you smiled. The three of you watched the show all bundled together. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at the time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event? That made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again. Not for the rest of your life. You planned to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Alright, what should we do? I'm going to take another break before we do this, but do you think we should go for errands, talks, charity, or drive? Have a think about that, and we will be back in a few minutes, folks. I'm going to run some ads in the meantime to keep pre-rolls off for the next hour. And I hope you all take a look after yourself, have a little bit of break, have a glass of water, a bite to eat, even just move around, stretch your body. I care about you, you know. Especially you. See you in a few minutes, folks. I love you to bits. And we're back, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a good break. Alright, let us do... So I'm thinking, right? We've got really, really low numbers tonight. So what I'm thinking, and we're already at the 3-hour mark. My voice has been pretty strained as well. So what I'm thinking is we might wrap it up here. And... I think we are going to do one more stream on this. In the, let's quickly pop over to here. So we can do a save job. But, we're going to do one more stream of this, another Catboi Cafe stream sometime in the next few weeks. And then after that, because we're not going to finish it in that stream. So what I'm thinking after that is I'll do some semi-regular streams to the Discord where we finish this game off, but I'm not going to do Maid Outfit or anything like that. We're just going to hang out and play the game together because it is enjoyable. Really, really, really do vibe and enjoy this game a lot. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. Sorry, I took a break and then we're wrapping up. I needed to go to the bathroom. But we're probably not going to raid out because we're at very low viewers right now. Oh my god, Neski's building Radiator Springs. Jesus Christ, Nes. Yeah, I think we're gonna... I don't think we're gonna raid out tonight. I don't have enough numbers for me to feel comfortable raiding out. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be playing Super Life, not in the maid outfit, which is going to be very nice for me. But yes, I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be playing some Super Life, getting some chaos. It will be session 7. So the last session before the all-out Battle Royale. We ended the last session huddling in a cave, huddling in a hole, because we're fairly certain our base is trapped to the wazoo. So we want to check that out tomorrow and just see what happens. Maybe try and kill Zoo and Shadow because they are the biggest threat. You know. But yes, I will see you guys tomorrow. It's been wonderful having you all here. I've had so much fun playing this game, and I appreciate you all. We've ordered the PC, the monitor's been shipped. So, everything's looking up. I appreciate you all immensely. And good night.